We're in the BI Platform studio and I'm having a remote conversation with Donald Farmer, who will be delivering a half-day seminar with the title Data and Analytics as a Line of Business. Donald, could you briefly explain the overall goal of the half-day?
Well, the data as a line of business, or analytics as a line of business, it's related to an area sometimes people have heard of called data monetization, which sounds like how do you make money out of your data? I have a slightly different approach to this, which is that every company I know today is a data company. If you work in business at all nowadays, you run on data. If you're a data company, you need to be an analytics company in order to get the best value from that. Without analytics, your data is just an asset that's not being used. And one of the approaches we can take to that is to think of the asset and the use of that asset as a new line of business, not just as an extra thing you do, but as a core business process that needs to be managed and run like any other business process. And so that's the key to this workshop.
Yeah. Okay, could you briefly walk us through the topics that you will be covering during the half day?
Oh yes, for sure. The first thing, of course, we have to understand is what do we mean by data as an asset? What is data as an asset? And so we need to cover that in some technical and organizational terms. And then we need to understand why analytics is so important. I often say that data without analytics is a wasted asset. So we need to add analytics on top of that and understand that. And then we can think about how to develop that into a line of business, what it means to run that as a business itself. And then there are some simple models we can use. I find there's 3 or 4 models that I can take to almost any business and say, if you build a little business model around this, if you build this analytic process and build a business model around it, you can be successful very quickly, because it's important to get quick wins that build confidence in the teams, build confidence in the management and executives. We'll look at things like benchmarking, for example, how we can compare ourselves to other companies, compare other companies amongst themselves. A very, very data-driven process. And one of my favorite lines of business that you can develop in the data world. We'll think about how we build communities, internal communities and external communities, which is also very, very important for making data not only available, but making data an asset which is actively used. We'll talk about strategic agility, how to be more agile when it comes to working with data, when it comes to making data available. And as we get to the end of this, the other thing we have to look at is some concerns that we might have around data quality, but also data privacy and governance, because it's one thing to make data available and to make analytics available, but we have to do that ethically and responsibly. So that becomes another part of this as well.
Yeah. Okay. And so who is this intended for? What are the job titles that you typically see attending this workshop?
It's a very general workshop in some ways, even though at times it might get a little technical. I don't think we would lose anyone. So people who are working with data management, people who are working with analytics management for sure. So data and analytics leaders within an organization, but also IT leaders. And, I love to get people from outside that, whether I can get executives in who may have an interest in this area. But I'd say primarily because we deal with quite a lot of strategic issues, it's going to be people in the data and analytics leadership space who are going to be best suited, I think, to get most out of this.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Donald.